Welcome to GLHF. Today, we're going to show you the top 10 first-person shooter games to play in 2020. Make sure to give the video a thumbs up before we begin, and let's get this video started with number 10, Valorant. This first-person shooter game by Riot has just come out of closed beta recently. Most of you watching probably know this game by now, but in case you don't, Valorant is best described as a free-to-play cross between CSGO and Overwatch. The CSGO part is mostly how the gunplay and movement in game feels, and the Overwatch part is for the graphics and the fact that the game is a team-based hero shooter. The game can be quite fun, especially if you've never played Counter-Strike before, and it would have probably been better ranked on this list if it wasn't for the ridiculously overpriced skins in this game or the very invasive anti-cheat program attached to this game. If you can get over that, you will find a very fun team-based FPS game with great hit registration that can scratch your competitive itch pretty well. Number 9. HalfLife Alyx. HalfLife Alyx is another great FPS game for this list, but sadly, it's a virtual reality-based game, which means not all of you will have access to the game. If you were ever on the fence about purchasing a VR headset, then HalfLife Alyx might be the game to push you in that direction. Ever since the game came out, over 1 million VR headsets have been purchased, and it looks like more AAA games will follow after this one's success. The fully interactive VR environment is great, and there's more than one way to deal with your enemies. HalfLife Alyx would have ranked higher on this list if it wasn't for the game's limited availability to the average gamer. Number 8. Battlefield 1. Even though this game came out in 2016, it's still one of the best FPS games out there. While most of its single-player experience was relatively average, the first mission of this game was one of the most clever ways to launch a campaign based on such a deadly war. I won't spoil it for you, but it's one of the best and most engaging single-player missions in gaming. As for the multiplayer, it's the same old Battlefield environment everybody knows and loves in the World War I era. Obviously, the game is not the most historically accurate game out there, but it doesn't take you out of the experience like the most recent Battlefield 5. Battlefield 1 is probably the best World War I game out there graphically speaking, and in general. That's why it still has an active community on top of the fact that Battlefield 5 failed miserably. Number 7. Cyberpunk 2077. Cyberpunk 2077 is an FPS game by CD Projekt Red, the same company behind the very beloved and critically acclaimed The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. Sadly, this game is not out yet, and the release for it has been delayed several times, but from the looks of it, it will be available to play in November 2020. It will be out for the PS4, Xbox One, and PC. And once the new consoles come out, you'll be able to play it on the Xbox Series X and the PS5 without purchasing another copy. We have yet to have any hands-on experience with the game here at GLHF, but judging from all the videos out there for the game and with the overwhelming good reviews the game received from those who've played the demos, Cyberpunk 2077 should be on the list for every gamer in 2020. Number 6. Paladins. Paladins is a great pick for this list for several reasons. First of all, the game is free and has no pay-to-win mechanics built into it. The game provides a ton of strategic depth with all the setup and customization you have for each champion. The game is also a cross-platform game that you can play with your buddies even if you don't own a PlayStation 4 or an Xbox like they do. The game is very similar to Overwatch in its game modes and structure, being a team-based hero shooter. If you're really bored and looking for a new game to play without spending any money, Paladins is a great pick for you. Number 5. CSGO. CSGO would be a great pick for a lot of the viewers looking for an FPS game. It's a completely free-to-play game. The only money you will spend, if ever, on the game is for skins. If you don't want to spend money, after enough playtime, you will eventually get some cosmetics that you can sell and trade your way up into buying some better ones. Besides the free-to-play aspect of the game, it offers a lot of game modes and ways to play the game so you will never get bored. You have the core game modes like Gun Game or Team Deathmatch, along with other different queues in the game like Wingman, and also the competitive playlist for any of you who love to challenge yourself. In your downtime, you can always check the community servers that include many fun activities like surf maps and many other unique modes that are not part of the core game. Number 4. Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Call of Duty Modern Warfare is one of the best FPS games you can play right now. It has a completely free-to-play battle royale mode which is a ton of fun. If you buy the game, you have the multiplayer section of it, which will offer you hours upon hours of playtime with free new weapons and maps every season in the game. They now have tournaments as well, where you can play in a small 2v2 map against other teams until you reach the finals and win or get eliminated. There's also a pretty good campaign that will be fun for those of you who enjoy a gritty and harsh depiction of the modern state of warfare. There's also a co-op mode in the game, but it's a huge disappointment and very poorly made. Number 3. Doom Eternal. Doom is an old-school FPS franchise that provided us with many great titles. Doom Eternal is no different. Doom 2016 was already a great game for mindless chaos and destruction, but Doom Eternal took Doom 2016 and made it even better with the mechanics that they added into the game. You can still heal up, refill your armor or ammo, but unlike the previous games, it's all about chaining your kills the right way and using the environment around you. Instead of creating another gory, mindless shooter gallery, id Software created a mindful, gory experience where you need to chain your kills the right way if you want to tear through the demons like the boss slayer that you are. While it can be overwhelming at first, once you get the hang of Doom Eternal, it's a very fun and challenging environment that will provide you a constant adrenaline rush. Number 2. Rainbow Six Siege. Rainbow Six Siege is a great tactical shooter game that is also hero-based. Unlike Overwatch or Paladins, your character's unique talents and abilities are represented through their gadgets that makes them a strategical asset. The game is treated like a live service, which means the game receives frequent updates with new characters being introduced to the game. If you want a slower and more methodical FPS game, Rainbow Six is perfect for you. Just before we get to number 1, guys, make sure to give the video a thumbs up. It helps the channel reach new viewers and for us to know that we're doing a good job. Let's move on to number 1, Escape from Tarkov. Escape from Tarkov is in the beta stage right now, with new updates constantly introduced into the game. It's the first game to introduce MMORPG elements and a PvE environment to a survival military simulator FPS game. Every round you play in Tarkov is called a raid, where you spawn in either as a PMC or as a scav. The PMC is your main character that can level up individual skills like reloading, looting, recoil control, and many other things that will give you a slight advantage in the field of battle. Once inside a raid, you can do whatever you want. If you wish to kill other players, you can do that. If you wish to just go around the map and fill up your backpack with loot that you can sell, you can do that. If you wish to engage in battle with several bosses and their henchmen, you can do that as well. You have to keep in mind, however, that you are risking every single item you have on you that is outside your safe container, meaning that if any of those activities result in your death, you will lose any item that you looted or is uninsured. That includes your weapon, gear, and everything else. That's why in Tarkov, game and map knowledge is more important than gun skills. You need to pick the right weapon for the mission and have the right ammo for the different armor you might encounter in a raid. Once you get all the loot that you wanted or you just want to leave the raid, you would have to make your way to one of the extraction points on your map if you want to keep the stuff that you found. There's a lot of other elements in the game that are great, like the flea market, which is where you can sell all the loot you found to other players or buy items you may need yourself to complete your quest or upgrade your hideout. Yeah, in Escape of Tarkov, you have a base of operations, which is the hideout. You can upgrade it to have better regeneration on certain stats like your dehydration and health, or have a Bitcoin farm that will generate some passive income to fuel more expensive raids in the future. This is a military simulator with survival elements, which means you have to make sure you stay hydrated and eat every once in a while so you don't run out of energy. If you break your arm, you need a splint to fix it. If you start bleeding after taking a shot, you will need to patch it up with a bandage, and if you take enough damage, you might need to perform a field operation on yourself so you can heal up your body. In order to accurately describe each and every part of this great game, I'll need a separate video, so just take my advice. If you have a good PC and you crave a new hardcore shooter, Escape from Tarkov is the game that will give you endless amounts of playtime with all the highs and lows that will make the game a great, rewarding experience. Before we leave, guys, what is your favorite FPS game? Make sure to leave it in the comments, even if it's not on this list. On your way down to the comments, leave a like on the video and subscribe if you're new to the channel so you won't miss our new videos coming out every Thursday. Thank you guys for watching, good luck, and have fun.